Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to share with you 13 red flags that we may have noticed in the early stages of a relationship, but we justified them or dismissed them. The behaviors ended up escalating and evolving with time until the narc's true colors is shown. But by then, you were all the way in under the narcissistic abuse and the narcissist spell. You may have experienced most of these red flags that I'm going to be mentioning in the beginning of the relationship, or perhaps just a few. Please don't blame yourself. The intention of this video here is to educate you, not to make you feel bad about how you didn't see those things. I too didn't see some of these things. Some I justified. And when you're blinded by love, you can't see the ugly things. You don't want to see them. And you convince yourself it's not that bad, or it shall pass. It was just a one-time thing. It's not going to happen again. But then it does. And it gets worse. And it does become your worst nightmare. Number 1, intermittent silent treatment. All narcs do this as means of control, punishment, conditioning, and molding. It's a form of passive-aggressive behavior and a very serious passive form of abuse. It starts by being subtle, quiet for a few minutes in the middle of a conversation, to not answering your calls and leaving you wondering, to blatantly ignoring you and not answering you when you're directing a question right at them, or purposely not interacting with you if you're living with them, turning their back on you, or just refusing to acknowledge you. Number 2, intermittent control. This starts with showing interest in you and your life, being curious and wanting to know everything about you as they like you, to eventually complete control over you and your life to the point that you lose yourself. So examples of this is by they're going to be asking you how you're spending your time, who you're talking to, where are you going, who are you meeting, what are you eating? What are you buying? How much you're spending? Questioning your needs, wants, desires, what makes you happy, your hobbies. What you can and cannot say with others will be eventually dictated by them. The need for you to provide almost all attention and effort for them only, and slowly cutting you off from family, friends, and support system. That's how things escalate. And that's how they have control. Number 3, intermittent criticism. It starts by nicely bringing to your attention how you can do something better by just a suggestion, to telling you it's wrong the way you are doing things, eventually to calling you stupid, incompetent, and full-on belittling and devaluing you. Intermittent anger episodes, number 4. From losing their cool over unfortunate events, pointing out faults of others and showing proof of how they were wronged, to being on edge when anything does not go their way, to eventually throwing some serious temper tantrums on you, turning into full-on rage episodes that in some cases turn into violence. Number 5, intermittent entitlement. This starts by making comments occasionally that are not appropriate and you know they're exaggerated, but you dismiss it. This turns into a regular thing, somehow always justified. It evolves to blatantly admitting they are deserving of special treatment because everyone else is beneath them, and then openly behaving like such in public when interacting with service personnel. They're abusing anyone in the service industry and devaluing them, whether it's in their face or behind their back. Number 6, intermittent manipulation. This starts with instilling doubt, to blame, to guilting you to do things, molding you into being their slave, to questioning your memory, to turning you into an explosive person for all the abuse and mind games they have been playing. Life with a narcissist turns into a constant manipulation 24/7 about everything. Number 7, intermittent disrespect. Eventually, it turns into full-on obtrusive disrespect. And this comes in colorful ways. From a personal disrespect to disrespectfulness of your time, space, boundaries, requests, wishes, to blatant refusal to providing you the right of being human, to total disregard to your feelings through denial, guilting, and projecting, as well as a vicious attempt to undermine and rob your freedom, independence, sanity, and most of all, peace of mind. Number 8, intermittent emotional blackmail. From inconspicuous attempts to play on one's emotions, choosing vulnerable moments to exploit, to turning it to noticeable vicious attacks. And number 9 here, I believe I made up this term. I haven't read it anywhere else. Intermittent psychological rape. Ouch, I know that sounds pretty bad. It starts off very subtle and it increases as they get more and more certain that you have fallen hard for them and will take care of their abuse without cluing in or fighting back. The objective has always been from the start to mold you to their liking, to alter the purpose of your core existence to be their personal possession and to abide by their rules, laws, and demands. This is done over a few stages with the usage of several tactics simultaneously. There is the trial and error stage at the beginning as they feel you out and get a sense of your weakest points and play on it. They attack your self-confidence while praising it. They do everything in their power to get you to be submissive while bragging about how proud they are of your strength, perseverance, and independence. They switch back and forth ever so cautiously as they compliment, followed by planting seeds of self-doubt in the same instance. It is done so tactfully and cunningly that it is very hard to notice unless there was suspicion on your part. The love bombing is there to eradicate any doubt and any suspicion throughout the stages of the psychological altering, until you are totally under the spell, totally under their control, totally dependent on them, and totally unable to trust in your ability to think for yourself or make decisions on your own. That's when the true colors are shown, with obvious devaluation and insulting, and in some cases, physical assaulting. Number 10, intermittent name calling. This starts from what seems to be accidental or in pretense of a joke. It then turns into a deliberate insulting in arguments, followed by denial of ever uttering the words, claiming it was all in the imagination or misunderstood, to write out being abusive verbally, intentionally hurting you and calling you every name in the book that will trigger you to react and perhaps cry. Number 11, intermittent blame shifting. At first, it will be subtle as they absolve themselves from the wrongdoing and then eventually leading to them projecting on you all their faults, and to the point of making up stuff that never happened. Number 12, intermittent fantasy building. It starts with them dreaming with you about the life they wish they could have with you, dragging you into the dream world with them, to denying reality and refusing to accept what is. Eventually, it would be like living in a fantasy world where things are not real. They live in another world that does not exist, and they want to kidnap you there in the mind, then call you crazy. Last point, number 13, intermittent egotistical comments. From, I know how to do this, I have some experience with this, to I am the best at this, to no one else can do this better than me. And this is more for the overt and malignant narcissist type. These are a list that I've put together for you, 13 red flags that we may have missed that eventually turned out to be our worst nightmare. These are things that I've personally experienced, and some of my clients experienced and have shared with me, and things I've read on many platforms of people talking about narcissistic relationships and how they have been narcissistically abused, and the evolution of the behavior. It starts off very subtle, very soft, that you can miss them. We do miss them, and we do justify them, and we do close our eyes to it because we don't want to see it, because we don't want to believe that the person we love would do this to us intentionally. But they are doing these things intentionally. This is all calculated. This is not an accident. These behaviors don't evolve from point A to point Z just by chance. It's all calculated because they are a narcissist. What can I say? Their behavior is calculated every step of the way. Even if they convince themselves that they aren't calculating and they aren't doing it intentional, but they're doing it. And they're all doing it. Almost every single narcissist out there has done this, is doing this, will continue to do this. Coincidence? Is it a coincidence that all those people who are speaking about being abused narcissistically, claiming that this is how it went down, coincidence? Or that's just the sickness that we're dealing with here? The narcissist is an unstable person emotionally and mentally. They did not develop emotionally. They don't have emotional intelligence. They are insecure. They have a fake persona. They pretend to be someone they're not. They need narcissistic supply. And they prey on people who have weaknesses to obtain that supply for as long as they can. Their whole life if they can, if the person doesn't stand up to themselves and doesn't leave. This can go on forever and ever until the person, their victim, loses themselves completely. That's the truth. That's the truth of what's happening right now. That's what's been happening. Stories that you've probably heard of, that you can't explain, that you don't understand. Why did this person commit suicide? Why did this person end up being addicted? Why did they do it? Why did they ruin their career? Let's say there's someone in a public figure and you've noticed that they've self-sabotaged. And I'm not saying in all cases because a narcissist is involved. Sometimes it's just drug addiction or whatever it may be, unhealthy lifestyle. But there are a lot of cases out there are due to a relationship with a narcissist. You just don't hear about it. Or you don't hear the details of what happened after. All you hear is that this person killed themselves. This person committed a crime. This person is addicted and destroyed their life. Again, you mostly hear about this because public figures, people who are famous, you hear about them. But the average person, do you hear about the average person The person that's in the house next door, down the street, in the next town, in another country, in another continent. It's happening right now as we speak. As we speak, as I'm speaking, as I'm recording this, as you're watching this. Someone out there is being abused by a narcissist. Someone out there is crying. Someone out there is feeling helpless and lost. And if you are that person watching me right now, I'm very sorry that you're going through that. I truly am. I kind of know what it feels like. But I want you to get out. I want you to find the strength to leave. Because you can. Ask for help. Seek professional help if you can. In whatever means possible. Find a way to get out. Don't stay in this abuse anymore. You deserve better. You will be taken care of. Just take the first step. And please do it safely. I don't want you to put your life or your kid's life, if you have kids, in danger. If you're going to be deciding to leave, do it safely. Calculate your exit plan. Get people on board to help you. And don't trust anyone just like that. Make sure that you know who you're involving in your plan. I say this because I worry that I don't want someone later on to come and say, well, Rania, I took your advice and I left and, I got hurt badly. I'm letting you know right now, I am not encouraging you to leave unless you have put a good plan to be safe. If you do something and hurt yourself because you didn't do it safely, that's on you. I'm not going to take responsibility for what you do, but I'm advising you to leave. Find a way. Ask for professional help. That's the best that I can do right now. That's the most help that I can do right now. Is to encourage you and to motivate you and to show you the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not dark. There is light. At the end of the tunnel, there is always light. In the beginning is darkness. You may not be able to see all the way through. And you don't even need to see the light. Just know that it's there. Take the first step. Leave the narcissist. And claim your life back. And until next time, please take care of yourselves. Ciao, ciao. I hope you liked this video. Please do hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you for watching.